you the end of 15.
Right.
And that's the answer. And would you like to hold this and look at index 15, and I'll tell you what I see on the machine. 7092551. Yep. Yeah. By the way, there's no plaster of Paris in the tray. There's no ink on the roller. Because it takes over 3 hours to clean it up, and we are volunteers, not idiots. Okay, this tray, what kind of ink would it use? It would use something like India ink, just plain old India ink. What's called India ink. This tray, once it gets to the end of its run, there's a little lever back there that the tray runs into and knocks it over. It's weighted so that when it falls over, it pulls on a string. That string runs all the way across the bottom of the machine over here, up this side over here, to this spot, where it goes over to this clutch lever and it disengages the clutch. So as the guy's cranking the machine and you finally get to the end of the run, it disengages the crank. So that you can't compute anymore. It realizes we're all done. We've got to the last answer that will fit on the tray. And so you can't crank anymore. Then you take the tray out, you get new plaster of Paris, reset it back up, and then you continue cranking. So he designed it for everything. Any questions? Material. Well, cast iron, what's called mild steel, and brass. Basically the material. The same thing, exactly the same things that were available in 1847 when he designed this. And the printer that he came up with came from his design of the analytical engine. This was a much better designed printer than he had in his original difference engine. So that was another one of the substitutions he made in his own designs. But this thing can print multiple columns and multiple fonts and multiple rows. And pretty good thing. We use a special kind of oil, yes. The oil that he had specifically dictated to use, we do not use. Because Nathan Marable's wife went with him to watch the machine in operation, and she could smell the oil. And she says, we're not going to have that in our house. Because you see, that's where this is destined, is his living room, to be put next to his Tyrannosaurus Rex. And she didn't want that smelly oil, so we had to find a biodegradable oil that had a good smell that would still work for lubricating this thing, which is what we're using. We lubricate it once a month.
How does that process work? How do you lubricate it?
It's all poured into the top, and it just simply trickles down. It collects in the tray at the bottom over time.
What?
How do you lubricate it was the question.
Oh, with eyedroppers for the most part. In about, I know it takes a couple people, a couple hours. And there's some of the places where it needs a few drops of lubrication, and they're pretty well hidden. So Tim Robertson, our chief guy on this thing, does most of those. He's got the feel for where they go.
They work from the top down.
Yeah, and there's some round holes, deep holes. There's a space up here on the top of each shaft where you put some lubrication. That's what you see in the pan. It drains down the shaft. They use a food industry oil. And the reason they use the food industry oil is that Mrs. Muirholm, who's going to have this machine in her living room, said, I will not have any smelly oil in my living room. So they found this lubrication which does the job and doesn't smell. And it's used in the food industry. And of course, there's these gears get greased. And they do use